God is good all the time. And all the time, God is good. Amen. I've been working on a poem this week, and if it's all right with you all, I'd like to share it with you. It's called Maybe We Can Relate Before It's Too Late. When the dream of happily ever after becomes a family's daily nightmare, a child doubts their parent knows how to care, especially when their folks choose to blame each other instead of taking their own shame to share. The camouflage of a well-manicured lawn might deceive the neighbors, but when the battle is fought inside the home, white picket fences make for poor defenses. Your princess is safe from outside marauders, but a defender needs to know when to surrender. When mom and dad slam the doors, it falls on their children's ears like Vikings at the oars. From inside your castles, they are looking out. And when I do becomes I don't, then forevermore, all their relationships they will doubt. For them to hear what you have to say when you are old and gray, it starts today. So choose which dragon you will slay. I know it's a sad, dark way to start a message, but I promise you, stick with me. There's light at the end and hopefully a happy ending. We live in a world that constantly pulls us apart like a centrifuge. We're spinning around, and the worries, the work, the stress, the struggles, all that we face pulls us apart. Couples have to fight and struggle head on to stay together. And no one is immune, no one is shielded, no one is protected at all from marital problems. For example, maybe you heard, it was on social media this week, people were talking about Philip Yancey, probably one of the more influential authors in the last 40 years. What's so amazing about grace, the Jesus I never knew? Probably the book I have given out the most in my ministry is his book, Church, Why Bother? It's a short little book, and it's great when people are disappointed with church. Also, I think he had a book called Disappointed with God. Anyway, phenomenal author, 70-something years old, and he's been having an affair for 8 years. Stepped down from all his ministry and writing and all that. And everyone is shocked. And I guess they forget our heroes sometimes have feet of clay. Right? I'm confident about this. He and his wife can work it out if they want to. But problems happen to everyone, even to our heroes. So there's two perspectives that I want to give you today that I hope will help change everything. For you when you're in a relationship, how do you see yourself in a relationship? Are you chained or are you anchored? Are you chained together or are you anchored? Is your spouse holding you back or holding you up? How do you see it? As a ball and chain or as an anchor? And then secondly, we typically, I think this is human nature, when we are in conflict or disagreement or struggling, we think, who needs to change? Not this guy, right? It's always the other person. Well, so what if we looked at, how about we change ourselves instead of trying to change the other person? So those are the two perspectives I want you to hold on to. Is the relationship chaining you or upholding you, and who should change? So where am I going with all of this, right? Couples who are dissatisfied typically feel distanced from each other. So my goal today, here's my big goal. This is what I want to know. How do we connect? How do we strengthen? And how do we build healthier and happier marriages? So now if you're single, young guy like Gunnar over here, or Michael and Brandon, I'm not married yet. What's this have to do with me? Maybe you're a widow, maybe you're not married, what can I take away from this? Number one, these young kids need your prayers every single day, right? Number two, they need examples from stories that we can tell, good stories and tough stories and stories, because that's what really connects us. They need mentoring. They need examples and help and advice, and they need us. So please, be there. I told my children growing up, and I tell my grandchildren when they spend the night and it's ready, we're going to tuck them in bed. It's all time to go to bed, and it's time to go to the sink. And I say, only brush the teeth that you want to keep. And Harper every time will say, well, Happy, I want to keep them all. Right? I want to keep them all. It's about priorities, right? That's what we're really talking about today. Priorities. You know, an oil change is a lot cheaper than a new car payment. Maintenance really does matter. So I want you to think about marriage and prioritizing your marriage, not so much as thinking about yourself or yourselves as a couple, but thinking about the future generations, the ripple effects, the intergenerational patterns that we can pass down, those things that we have that we can pass down. The number one, Graham Maddox, close that door, son. Thank you. The number one predictor for confident, secure, and well-adjusted children is a solid, happy home life. Now, I might not be able to tell you how to get all of this done, but I hope I'll give you a good why before it's over, why we should prioritize it. But a big question is, how do we bond? How do we relate? How do we connect with our significant other, the person that we were saying, till death do I part with? I think it's really based on small, what did you say, Graham?
Your day is over.
My day is over?
Yep.
He's going to grow up to either be a politician or a criminal. I'm telling you. Probably an all-star wrestler from the basement, you know. All right. So how do we connect? I think it's based on the little introspections that we have throughout the day. Amber's giving that a lot of thought. She's looking at Graham thinking, I could see him behind bars. It's our little introspections, the things that we think about. Who do you confide in? Married people, who is it that you bounce your ideas off of, that you daydream with, that you share your thoughts, your interests, the things that excite you? I'm really asking the question, who's your best friend? Who is your best friend? Who believes in you the most? I know who that is. For me, it's Tanya. It's without a shadow of a doubt. She's always encouraging me, always supporting me, always wanting me to pursue the things that bring me fulfillment, interest me, whatever. And I probably don't do as good of a job with that with her, but I hope that I do. And I think that's what it's about. Encouraging each other. And that they know that you believe in them. And you say, well, how am I going to do that if I don't even like being with my wife? I don't even like being with my husband. I don't even like spending time together. How would I do that? Enjoying time together with our spouses happens the more that we encourage each other's dreams, the more that we support each other's goals, ambitions, the more that we compliment each other, the more that we share in each other's little victories. I mean, who is it when you're excited that you have a big win in life that you tell first, or that you're most excited to tell, or that you look forward to their feedback the most? So how do we enjoy spending time together? We compliment each other. We share time together. And then ask yourself this question. When was the last time you said to your spouse, how can I help you? What do you need? I mean, we're first off to ask for help as soon as we need it. That's just human nature. As soon as we have a struggle or we want help, we can throw up our hands. But when was the last time we said, how can I help you? What do you need? We don't ever ask those questions when we're comfortable, right? If we're comfortable, we don't ask questions. But we've got to realize complacency, complaining, criticism, coldness, this kills more marriages than unresolved conflicts. People don't end marriages just because of conflict. They end relationships because they think the other person doesn't care. Does your spouse know how much you care? Well, if they feel there's unresolved resentment, they're not going to care if you care. So in the absence of grace, we feel cut off. We have to become a people who are willing to give grace to the same extent that we hope to receive it. And that's true for all relationships, but especially with marriage. We're going to give it out as much as we want to receive it. But in the absence of grace, every one of us feels cut off. And rejection always turns to resentment. Anytime you feel like someone is rejecting you, whether you're married to them, whether it's a coworker, whether it's a sibling, a neighbor, whatever, when you feel rejected, you build resentment because it's a direct attack on you as a person. So that's why we have to give grace as much as we hope to receive it. If you listen to me, if you don't captivate and enchant and encourage your spouse, someone else will. Someone will fill the void if you don't. Everyone needs a cheerleader in their corner. Everyone needs someone to support them. And if you don't encourage your spouse, I promise you, someone out there in the world will. And that rarely ever ends well. Compliment, express appreciation for someone else will. I've kind of come to this conclusion that miserable marriages are the ones that miss out on mutuality. They miss out on that sense of we're together, we're a team, we're going to take on the world, we're going to stop the world and melt together, and we're going to make it all happen. And so if you want your marriage to sizzle instead of fizzle, my number one recommendation, cook together. I absolutely hate cleaning up in the kitchen. I will be the first to confess that. I don't mind making a big mess. Like we do saganaki, and man, when I like that flaming cheese and I put it out with the lemon, it's all over the counter, it's on the floor, we got grease everywhere, I'm having a great time, and Tammy's right there behind me with a paper towel and saying, "Did you see where that lemon juice went?" You know? I'm like, I'm having a great time, and I'm cooking. I hate cleaning up. I also hate unloading the dishwasher. I don't mind loading it. I hate unloading because I got to find out where it goes. And I got to put it away. But you know, we spend more time in the kitchen now, I feel like, than we ever did. It's like all of a sudden we got all these dirty clothes and dirty dishes. And we're like, we had a house with 4 kids, and now where are all the people living in this house, you know? But that's where we spend a lot of time together as a couple. And I don't think that's boring. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It may not sound glamorous or spectacular, but it bonds us. It unites us. It draws us together. And I'll just throw this out there. Lincoln's out of the room now, right? Gunner, when a mama bee and a daddy bee are very much in I'm kidding, but I'm not. So, 1 Corinthians 7, Paul says, concerning matters about which you wrote, it is good for a man not to have sexual relations with a woman. They thought it was the end of time. They were worried about getting married and having families. The church in Corinth, well, if it's going to be the apocalypse, if it's going to be massive martyrdom, all these problems, should we be bringing new families into existence? And Paul said, they wrote to him about this. He goes, but because of the temptation to sexual immorality, each man should have his own wife and each woman her own husband. The husband should give to his wife her conjugal rights, and likewise the wife to her husband. For the wife does not have authority over her own body, but the husband does. Likewise, the husband does not have authority over his own body, but the wife does. Do not deprive one another, except for perhaps an agreement for a limited time, that you may devote yourself to prayers, but then come together again, so Satan may not tempt you because of your lack of self-control. One of the number one needs that most men have is intimacy. But women, they need to feel secure and confident and cared for. I feel in an absence of this, it's hard to bond. The point I'm making isn't just intimacy, though. It's mutuality. Paul says the husband's not in control of himself, the wife is. The wife's not in control of herself, the husband is. There is a mutuality. Chapter 11, Paul says, man was not made from woman, but the woman from the man. Remember, in the garden, made from the dust, God takes a rib out. Neither was man created woman, but woman for man. God says it's not good, right? There was light, it was good. There was this, it was good. You know, all these days of creation, and God looks at man and woman and goes, this is not good. God created a helper. Eve, right? To be in the garden with Adam. Woman was made for man. That is why a wife ought to have a symbol of authority on her head, because of the angels. Nevertheless, in the Lord, woman is not independent of man, nor man of woman. For as woman was made from man, so now man is born of woman. And all things are from God. There's a mutuality. There is a give or take. There is an equality that is very necessary. And then I'll just throw one more out there to kind of pigtail on the 1 Corinthians 7. Proverbs 5:18. Let your foundation be, your fountain be blessed, and rejoice in the wife of your youth, a lovely deer, a graceful doe. Let her breasts fill you at all times with delight. Be intoxicated always with her love. Attraction, appreciation, intimacy. Without that, it's hard to stay bonded. It's hard to stay connected. And you know what the bigger point of all that is? Bigger than the intimacy, bigger than the connection, is acceptance, which is probably the most powerful aphrodisiac that there is. Feeling accepted for who you are, feeling loved, feeling appreciated. You're familiar with the old saying, you never miss the water, what? Never miss the water till the well runs dry. Thank you. Just checking, making sure you're still with me. Do you know what the difference is between the ranchers in the outback of Australia and the ranchers here in America? In America, these guys that have these big cattle ranches, how do they ensure that the cattle remains on the ranch? Barbed wire fences, corrals, all of that stuff. Do you know what they do out in the Australian outback? There's no fences out there. How do they keep the cattle from wandering away? Water. Water, exactly. They drill a well, and out there in the wilderness, they provide everything that the cattle need. They put the the well in, they make sure the feed is there, and they put all that is necessary, every need is filled. And guess how many cows they have wandered away and disappeared? A lot different than here in America, where we try to fence them in and corral them in. And there's a great overlap application for our spouses, for the people that we love. You try to fence them in, you could try to control them, or you could take the other way. Provide all that is needed and all that is important to them. For couples that are married and are less than happy, if you want to avoid that feeling of being lonely, learn to laugh together more. Find things that cause you to laugh and to have enjoyment and to giggle. One of the things I love about Clay, I love all of our children, but one of the things I love about Clay is he still giggles. He's an adult, but he still giggles. There's something sweet and wholesome and innocent about a giggle. So when was the last time you giggled together? When was the time you laughed together? Let me wrap up with this idea. If you want to be happier, who doesn't want to be happier? Or the people that are in your care or that you care about, if you want them to be happier, live in the present. You can't change the past. You can't overcome the past. You have to look forward to building a future together and realize it's never too late to start, to improve, to make it better. And you say, well, how do I do that? How do I really change, really improve, really get happy? How do I do all of that? You sacrifice the things from the past. Relationships, there is no home and away. There is no home and guest. When you have a disagreement, it's not about keeping score. So many people think, aha! And this, I got you with that. To be happy, we get rid of the scoreboard. We train it in because the competition doesn't share your last name, but your partner does.